So today we have come up with another interesting topic which is closely related to our day-to-day life activities. Okay, so are you ready? So come, let's learn together. Yes? In this session, we are going to cover Bernoulli's principle. So what was his principle and how he proved it and what are all the applications that we are using Bernoulli's principle. That is what we are going to cover in this session. Okay, so let's start with the principles. The speed of a moving fluid increases, then the pressure within the fluid decreases. That is, speed is inversely proportional to pressure. That is what he said. Or else velocity is inversely proportional to pressure. Okay, first we will see how he proved it and then we will go with the applications that we are using Bernoulli's principle. So you will have a clear understanding. Yes? So before getting into the theoretical concept, let's understand two types of flows in fluid. One is streamline flow and another is turbulent flow. Streamline flow is nothing but each particle of fluid, okay, will follow the preceding particle's path. So it will travel with same velocity and in same direction. Whereas turbulent flow is just vice versa. That is, no particle will follow any other particle. So it is with different velocity and it moves in different direction. Now clear? Yes. We'll theoretically prove Bernoulli's principle using the flow of fluid through a pipe. Okay. So Bernoulli's principle can be derived from law of conservation of energy, which states that in a streamline flow, the sum of all types of energy possessed by the fluid is a constant. Okay. So we'll try to discuss it through an example so you'll have a better understanding. Now let us consider a pipe of two different cross-sectional area. Yes. And inside the pipe we have incompressible fluid. Okay. So the fluid flows from here to here. Okay. So I have chosen 2 points C and D. So fluid starts from here and ends here. Okay. So the area at the point C is A1 and at D it is A2. Okay. And pressure is P1 and the velocity is V1 at the point C, whereas it is P2 and V2 at the point D. Okay. And it is at a height H1 from the Earth's surface, whereas the point D is at the height H2 from the Earth's surface. Clear? Now, the fluid that is flowing through this pipe possesses three kinds of energy. One is potential energy because it is at certain height from the ground level. The second one is kinetic energy because it is flowing. And the third is pressure energy due to static pressure. Clear? Yes. Now, as I told you, this potential energy, kinetic energy and pressure energy, when it is added up together, it is equal to a constant. Yes, that is what we will have to prove. Right? So, let's prove it. First, let us understand the equation of continuity through which we will derive the remaining equation. Okay. So, what it states means the mass of liquid entering at certain period of time at a point is equal to the mass of the liquid leaving some other point at the same interval of time. Okay, so let us consider a time period of del t. Okay, that time the mass of liquid entering this point C is equal to the mass of liquid leaving the point D. So I can write it as mc is equal to md, right? Yes. So this how we will prove, we will see. Okay. So we know density is equal to mass by volume, right? So we need mass only. So mass is equal to volume into density. So volume, how can I write? Area into distance, right? Because at certain period of time del t, there is a change in distance, right? Or there is a flow. So I can write it as A1 into distance. Change in distance is del x1, I will keep it. And with respect to time, right? Yes. And density. Density, how will I represent? Rho. Similarly, for second case, that is here at the point D, I can write it as A2 or AC, you can keep it because at the point C, right? So A2 into del x2 by del t into rho. Here rho I have taken as constant considering that there is no loss of fluid throughout the flow of liquid throughout the pipe. Okay. So now I can write it as A1 into distance by time is nothing but velocity, right? So V1 rho. Similarly here A2 into V2 rho, right? Now we know that mc is equal to md. So mc we have got it as a1 into v1 rho and md we have got it as a2 into v2 rho, right? So you can equate this both. a1 v1 rho is equal to a2 v2 rho. So rho and rho gets cancelled. So a1 v1 is equal to a2 v2, or simply you can write it as av is equal to constant, okay, or a is inversely proportional to v. That is, area is inversely proportional to velocity. Clear? Now we have derived equation of continuity, okay. So tell me, when your area a1 is greater than a2, how your velocity will be? It would be lesser, right? Because we know area is inversely proportional to velocity through the equation of continuity, right? So v1 is lesser than v2. Now we will compare the three energies, how it is, okay, at point C and D respectively. So potential energy at point C or D is greater. C, right? It is lesser when it reaches point D. Because you know potential energy increases as height increases. So here only height is more when compared to here. Yes? So you can write this way. Kinetic energy. Kinetic energy nothing but due to motion. So you can compare it with velocity, right? So velocity at V2 is greater. So kinetic energy at the point D is greater, where it is lesser at point C. And pressure energy, you know from Bernoulli's principle, velocity is inversely proportional to pressure, right? So here it is greater and it is lesser. Now you can find that the potential energy has decreased, kinetic energy has increased and pressure energy has decreased, right? So when you add the loss in potential energy and pressure energy, it should be equal to the gain in kinetic energy, right? Because that is what law of conservation of energy is. So how can you write potential energy, loss in potential energy plus pressure energy is equal to gain in kinetic energy, right? Yes. Now just listen. So potential energy, which one is greater here, right? So potential energy C at point C minus potential energy at point D plus pressure energy at point C minus pressure energy at point D is equal to kinetic energy at point D minus kinetic energy at point C. Correct? Because kinetic energy at the point D is greater. Now bring all the C terms to one side and D terms to other side. So potential energy at point C plus pressure energy at point C plus this will come this side, right? So minus will become plus. So kinetic energy at point C is equal to potential energy at point D plus pressure energy at point D plus kinetic energy at point D. Or else you can write it as potential energy plus pressure energy plus kinetic energy is equal to constant. Right? This is what we will have to prove. Right? So, from this you can conclude that an increase in velocity occurs simultaneously with decrease in pressure. Right? How you might ask, here velocity you can consider it as kinetic energy. Right? So, here kinetic energy increases where potential energy decreases along with pressure. Right? Hence, the Bernoulli's principle is proved mathematically. Clear? Now, I hope you are all clear with Bernoulli's principle and how he proved it. Next, let us see the applications of Bernoulli's principle in our day-to-day life. Yes? A very common application where we use Bernoulli's principle is a perfume bottle. Okay? So, when I press at one side, you can see the spray coming out from other side. Okay? So, this is how your setup looks like. Okay? Now, the portion where you press, it contains an air bag. Okay? So, air is pushed when you press it, or else you can say it as it moves with high velocity. So, your pressure would be low. Right? At the same time, you can find at the bottom part where it contains the liquid, it is of high pressure and low velocity because the movement of air is less, right? So, when you press, there is a difference between these two pressures, right? So the low and high pressure creates a lift which causes the liquid to move through the tube, and finally the air and the liquid moves together and thus it comes out as spray. Clear? Now we look at one more major example where Bernoulli's principle is used. It is nothing but an aircraft wing. It is designed in such a way that its bottom is flat whereas its top is curved. Okay. So if you find the distance for the air to cover the bottom is lesser when compared to cover at the top. Yes. So it moves with constant velocity at bottom and with high velocity at top, because it will have to reach the other point at the same time, right? Only when it reaches the bottom as well as the top part at the same time, it can move, right? Yes. So as you know from Bernoulli's principle, high velocity means low pressure and low velocity means high pressure, right? So at the top it is low pressure and at the bottom it is high pressure. So when there is a difference in pressure, a lift is generated that makes the aircraft to move in air. Now clear? So I hope you are all clear with the concepts discussed today, right? I think I was able to convey my concepts clearly to you. Yes? So if you like the video, please click on the like button and share it with your friends, and please don't forget to subscribe my channel. Yes? So thank you for watching this video. Thank you for all the support given. Keep supporting. So thank you. Bye.